But you move your eyes around, your eyes are accessing the parts of your brain, left and right, left and right. It breaks it up and gives you more access to more of you, right? Hello, everyone. This is Tait here with another video, another idea to help you move forward. Today, I'd like to use a technique, share a technique, which was invented by a man by the name of Dr. Ronld Ruden, and that is havening. What is havening? It's a psychosensory technique, which basically means you're using your mind and you're using touch. The whole point of this is to release old bad memories, old bad feelings, emotions, recurring thoughts, traumatic situations, right? The usual caveat, of course, if you're going through any situation and you need a medical practitioner, a mental health practitioner who is qualified, please go and see them if you have a medical situation. So this is for information purposes, to share with you the idea, the theory, and I'll take you through the protocol, one of the many protocols in havening. The whole point of this video is to share with you ways that you can release and rewire the trauma that lives inside of us all. We've all got micro ones, but some people have got some big ones that are really impacting them. So if you can release these, you can resolve them, have them go back into what's called consolidated memory. That's what the psychologists call it. And there's another theory that is reconsolidation, where you grab the memory and put it on the shelf, basically. So that's the idea. So that sounds good. Keep listening, and I'll take you through this very simple protocol, and I'll put something in a link in the description so that you've got the written word so you can get access to that. There are lots of videos online, right? So you can go and learn all the different micro protocols, but they all have three basic elements. So Dr. Ronld Ruden was studying everything to do with trauma, and he came up with his protocol in the 2000s, I think I was reading, and it's a great technique. What it does is it blends another theory of which is called EMDR, which is eye movement desensitization, EMDR recall, I think it is. I'm not an expert in that one, but it's about the eyes. And the interesting thing is that also crosses over in the field of NLP and mindset coaching, because eye accessing is a big part of rapport. You know, if your eyes go up, you're accessing pictures. If your eyes go sideways, you're probably accessing sounds. Or if your eyes go down, you're probably accessing feelings or thoughts, right? These are some of the ideas that we learn in the NLP side of things. And in NLP, there's a technique which is called eye integration, where you roll your eyes around your peripheral whilst you're thinking about a problem, because your problem lives in a very specific part of your brain. And when you roll your eyes around, you find that it starts to break it up. It's no longer as big a problem, or you're coming up with solutions because you're stuck in one part. But you go accessing all of this amazing brain of yours, and your brain starts to come up with other things that can do, as opposed to being stuck in a loop, right? So, which is good. So that's what happens inside these areas. And then there's EMDR, where we're using the eye movement to desensitize, right? So it's kind of got all these elements built into this, as well as the added piece of the sensory, where we're going to touch our head, we're going to touch our hands, and I'll take you through a basic protocol that I've learned just by being a tourist on YouTube. But because I'm a mindset coach, I'm always studying these things. And so I like to share the things that I've found. And in these cases, I find myself more being like a reporter. I'm like reporting these great things that I've discovered that have helped me and that can help you. Obviously, go off and see your therapist if you've got some big situation going on, your licensed mental health practitioner as the caveat. But it's these things you can work your way through and do safely for yourself on really small things whilst you learn these protocols. Okay, that's enough of the caveat. Let's now jump into what it is. So there's 3 elements in havening. Let's do some how. So we've done the why. We're going to release some trauma, some bad memories, some things that are going on. What we're talking about is the havening technique, and I'll take you through the how. It's got some touch, it's got some distraction, it's got some the eye movement, and I'll take you through that in just a sec. So here we are. We've got our 3 elements, and I'll go through the protocol so you can see the elements coming together. The first one is touch. Now, what happens when you touch yourself is it releases a thing called delta waves in your brain, delta waves that are those dopamine kind of good feeling, delta feeling waves. And one of the things that this mimics is when a mother, as an infant, strokes you, right? If they stroke your back or they stroke any part of you. And the brain feels this feeling, and it's a really powerful feeling. So it releases these delta waves, and it changes the biochemistry in your brain. So that's the first little thing we'll learn, is the touch side of it. And it starts like this. If you touch the forehead here very lightly, just touch it like that. And it feels kind of nice. You know, it's got a sensation to it. You can feel the skin. You can do it lightly and play around with the amount. And then from the nose, under the eyes like this, just play around with it and see what feels good. So do that 4 or 5 times. And then doing the arms down to the elbows. Do that 4 or 5 times. And then the hands. You do that 4 or 5 times. And if you're doing this quietly by yourself at home, you'll notice it feels pretty good. It feels kind of nice, right? So that is the touch side of it. So when we go through the protocol, I've got a little list here, which I'm just going to go through with you, and I'll take you through the protocol. That's the touch side of it. Now, whilst you're going through this, we're going to go and look at some scenes, which was the distraction part, right? So the distraction part is you imagine yourself walking in some nice scene. And so we're going to make up 3, and I've got 3 written down here. The first scene will be us walking and counting for 20 steps, and you're walking on a beautiful beach. Visualize the nicest beach you've ever been to, and you're going to walk along the beach, right? And as you're walking along the beach, you'll count the steps. And whilst you're counting the steps, you'll be doing the stroking, right? So this is the idea. And the next part is about having your eyes go left and right, left and right, left and right. Keeping your head still, eyes to the extremities, moving your eyeballs left and right. The idea of this, like I said before, is it breaks up the emotions, because the emotions, when you're accessing them in your brain, it's probably in one tiny little segment of your brain. But you move your eyes around, your eyes are accessing the parts of your brain, left and right, left and right. It breaks it up and gives you more access to more of you, right? And so that is the eyes part. So we've got the distraction, which will be a scene. We'll have maybe a beach. We'll have, what else did I write down? I was going to put in there. There's a beautiful garden and some other beautiful scene. We'll come up with something. So that is the protocol. And so I'll take you through it 2 or 3 times. And I'd love you to write in your comments how this affects you, how it improves or how it changes things. But before we start, here's the question. Choose your specific thing that you want to work on. Now, maybe it could be even something where you've got this looping thought of something that happened at work and it's making you angry. Or it could be some traumatic thing. Over a video, I always caveat to work on something a little bit smaller, right? But give it a score out of 10 as to how intense the feeling is or how annoying it is, right? Frame the problem for yourself. So let's see, I'll work on maybe a recurring thought of being angry with someone who's not even in the room, right? So you might have something like that. So let's say I've got one like that, and I had one like that the other day. And let's say, it was an 8 out of 10 when I access it, the old thought. So I was like, well, I don't want that in my brain. I want that gone. I mean, let the emotion go through you. It shouldn't be there 4 days later, right? Or 2 days later, whatever the situation was where I was upset. So I'm going to use that as my example. So score out of 10. And when I really go into it, yeah, it's like a 7 or 8 out of 10, I would say. That's cool. Let's go with 7. So here's the protocol. So we just start with the stroking. 1, 2, 3. So I've accessed that memory, right? That's the important thing first. Make sure you've accessed the memory briefly. Yeah, it's there. Yeah, not happy, right? This is what in coaching we call the Tait model, or we call associate first into the problem, and then we'll get out of the problem as we go. So I've gone into the problem. There it is. I'm feeling those things. I've got those pictures in my head. Yep, that's cool. Now we start stroking. And as you're stroking, you can close your eyes if you want. As I'm stroking, you keep stroking. And now imagine yourself as you're stroking. You're on a beach. And as you're on a beach, you feel your toes in the sand. And as I count, continue to stroke. And as we're walking along, count your steps, feeling the sand in your toes. 1, 2, continuing to stroke. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, walking on the beach, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. And now with your eyes closed, still stroking yourself, move your eyes to the left, to the extreme left, and then your eyes to the right, then your eyes to the left, then your eyes to the right, then your eyes to the left, your eyes to the right. You can open your eyes if you want, your eyes to the left, eyes to the right, eyes to the left, eyes to the right. Continue stroking, stroking with your eyes closed, and imagine it's that time in your life when you have been laughing with friends. And I mean hysterically laughing, just continuing to stroke. You know that memory, don't you? We had such a good time. You were laughing. You were laughing so loud, and your body was convulsing. Remember that funny time. Remember those funny jokes. Stroking yourself continuously. And now move your eyes to the left and your eyes to the right. Eyes to the left, 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 eyes to the right. Keep on stroking. And now imagine a garden, a beautiful garden, the most beautiful garden you have ever been in. And you're walking on barefoot on the grass, walking barefoot. And as you're walking on the garden, let's take 20 steps. and you feel the grass as you're stroking on your feet, stroking away. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, stroking away. And remember that harmony is all about being calm and relax. And so now, when you access that old memory, I'm going to go back to mine. And I was partly teaching, so maybe I wasn't fully into it while I was teaching. But let me see if I go back to that thing I was angry about. I'll access that old feeling. First number that comes to my mind is 4. I'm getting a 4 out of 10. So I've shifted it pretty good. So if I do another round of this, I reckon I can get that down to a 1 based on what's just happened. And so that old memory, that old thought that I had of that thing I was angry about, that I was carrying around with me unnecessarily, I've now just released some of. And so, obviously there's lessons to be learned. You want to do things better next time. You don't want those things to happen again. But if someone's made you angry, it makes you sit back and ask, oh, what did I need from that person? I mean, are they the wrong person? They probably are. I was angry about something. And the reality was, I'm thinking a lot more rationally. I'm getting access to more of my brain because I was angry about something, but the reality was it wasn't that bad. I just decided to get mad as hell in my head, not to anyone else in the outside world. I know, it's crazy, right? Us humans are like that. So please, I would love to hear how you go with this technique on your first round. And do a second round and get your number from your 7s and 8s down to your 1s and 2s out of 10 as to how much that's a problem for you. This is called havening. It was invented by Dr. Ronld Ruden. I'm not an expert. I am merely a tourist, a reporter in this situation. This is what I call my reporting phase. I am testing something out for myself, and I have used this for myself. And so hence, I want to share this with the world. Dr. Ruden has fantastic information. You go online. I've got my other screen up here, and there's basically this was an incredible technique that he's put together, and it says here havening techniques, which has been registered, so trademarked. So I'm not selling anything here. This is a free video. Are a novel so-called psychosensory treatment that can affect changes in the brain through the sensory input of touch applied to the upper arms, face, and hands. The effects achieved with this simple sounding treatment are rather remarkable. It can stop panic attacks, anxiety, long-standing toxic emotions, and more. So go and Google it. You'll see it on the first page. And it's a fantastic technique. I hope this has helped someone today to calm their amygdala, release the old memories that are stuck there, and travel it through to the hippocampus, which is, as you start studying mindset, you start studying the brain, and you very quickly learn that the hippocampus is the librarian of your brain. And when your amygdala is spiked and you're in fight or flight, the library shuts and you're left with the book of trauma. Instead of putting the trauma on the shelf as a lesson of something that once was a thing, instead you're carrying it around with you. That's why the amygdala holds on to it, right? So let's put the book on the shelf in your golden library, which is one of my go-to places in any kind of hypnotic work I do. And the idea is for you to have learned the lessons and put the trauma on the shelf. I'm learning lessons just by doing that technique, just in this little video. I hope this serves you today. Remember, the 3 elements is the touch, which we had here, here, up here, here, and here. And then we had the eyes, left to right, left to right. And then we had the distraction by imagining a beach, and counting the 10 steps in the sand. Those were the three elements of havening. You can apply them to things that are not serving you in your brain, that are living rent-free, that you can resolve and put back on the shelf in the library of your mind as lessons that will serve you forever, as opposed to things that are traumatic that pop up and fire off your fight or flight. Sounds good, doesn't it? You get more control, you release the trauma, you release the stress, you release the thing that's in your way, and you can move yourself forward in life without these difficult things. So if that sounds good, please comment below. And of course, subscribe to the channel, as we all say in YouTube land. But please comment below. I would love to hear how this little technique helps you to move forward. Tait signing out. I'll see you in the next videos.